Hello, I'm Casey,
And I'm Mackenzie,
and this is Field Notes from the Unknown.
a podcast about your favorite local cryptid. Good morning, Casey.
Good morning.
How are
How
you?
are you on this? I'm good. Enjoying this rainy day, actually.
Yeah, it's giving me some fall vibes, and I am beyond ready
I'm all here. I'm
to experience my full witchy self.
so ready for fall. I'm so ready.
You you've been over to my place. It's fully converted to fall. I'm also admiring that there's a little, for those that are watching us on YouTube, there's a cute little wreath over Casey's shoulder that looks very
Oh,
fall themed.
yes, it's actually all dried. Like it's all dried flowers.
Mhm.
So it's very sensitive when I move it. So it just kind of stays there.
Gotcha. Crumble.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Well, I have the next and
Don't say
semi-final installment in our Sasquatch series.
no.
Don't worry, we will return, I'm sure, to this cryptid again.
I
This will
I
not be the
knew the
last time.
miniseries was coming to an end, but I have loved it.
I'm so glad that you've enjoyed it. I just love these stories and I love this creature, and I am waiting with bated breath until, it is proved to be an actual species by science.
Well, so here's the thing. I was listening to the podcast the other day on my drive to work, and I was thinking, do we want Bigfoot to actually become like a recognized species? Because when people find like interesting things, they just tend to, I don't know, abuse them. Like, I don't want Bigfoot to be in a zoo.
Yeah, I don't
So, like,
either.
they can
I think
recognize the
it's,
species, but I still don't want him to be founded. Does that make
yeah.
sense?
Yeah. Well, I've mentioned a little bit about the North Carolina State DNA study headed by actually librarian Darby Orcutt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, they've put a lot of thought into implementation. So it's still, science takes a long time. So we're still years out of an actual result. But they put a lot of forethought into what do we do if/when we prove the creature, because you're exactly right. Like, you have to make sure that the location from the sample is not disclosed to the public,
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to have people, trophy hunters, go and try to capture one of these things.
That's exactly the thing. Like, trophy hunters, you put a bounty on literally anything, and
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the argument is that if they are known as a species, then we can do things like protect them, designate areas of high concentration as national parks or state forests, or no poaching areas, and put more parameters and such. But that's always a trade-off, because if you do discover, quote unquote, discover something like that, you are exposing a creature to a whole lot of risks that they didn't have before.
yeah, that's, and I don't know, the national parks from the current administration, I feel, are not getting as much support as they should be.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah. I think for me, I want it to be proven, because I think about the work of some of these incredible scientists like Jeff Meldrum, for instance, and I just want the life work of some of these people to, come to fruition,
yes, they have
I want that
worked on,
validation.
yeah, yeah, a lot of people have put a lot of time and resources into finding Bigfoot.
Right? A lifetime of scientific research. And we're getting so off topic, but I mean, it's
We're still talking about
to
Bigfoot,
have
so it
your,
counts.
yeah, to have your entire life's work be boiled down to a punchline, is crazy,
Yeah,
you know? So I
I
want
agree.
that vindication for some of these people.
Yeah. But while we're on this little side tangent, did you see what
Yeah.
text I sent you the other night?
Which one?
Ha. There's a lot. Okay, so Friday night I was watching a show called Is It Out There or something like that? And
The truth is out there? Or the proof is
yes,
out
I
there?
think it is The Truth Is Out There. Um but they were talking about a 1890s photo from Canada that was supposedly a dead Sasquatch.
That's right. Yeah, I remember you sent me that.
Have you heard of it? Like, I did not look into it other than what they told me there, and I can't remember if
There have
they
it,
found it to be like real, but the photo, it
there
was
have
grainy.
been
It was
there have
like a
been a
blob.
lot of like bodies and such that are found, and I didn't build any time for us to kind of dive into those like dead bodies and things during this series, but we can
Oh my
definitely
gosh,
like
sounds
cycle
like a
back to
bonus
that at
episode.
some right. But I think the one that you're thinking of is the Minnesota Iceman. Um, Somebody claimed that they found this thing and then carted it around to a bunch of sideshows throughout the United States and was charging people like a couple dollars to come and view it. And there are pictures out there. I don't know if it's legit.
That is
I don't
insane.
know.
Again, how
Yeah,
people have disrespect for like dead things if they can get money from it.
right. I mean, what we're talking about is probably one of the closest creatures to humans, and people are just carting it around. If it's
Li-
real,
Yeah, literally. I think there was a Ghost
it's
Adventures episode
crazy.
where there was a mummified body that a carnival had toted around for so long, and now his body's
Hmm.
like actually in a place, and Ghost Adventures went there. I can't remember the name or anything, but I know there was one.
I'm sure I think about like the Victorians, and they would collect like Egyptian mummies, and then they would fucking eat them. Like
That's
that's
so fucking weird.
why would
Uh,
you do that?
right? Why would you do that? Don't do
Don't
that.
eat people. Oh, this
Yeah,
is the first time we've come out anti-cannibalism at our
that is
podcast.
true. That is true. Don't eat people if you don't have to, unless like you're in that
Unless,
type of survival situation where you're contemplating it, and then I don't know. I don't know. I've
have
never been
have a
in a
good old
survival situation.
have a good old doner kebab.
Yeah.
Get it? Get it?
A Donner dinner party.
Yeah.
All right. Back to Bigfoot.
All right. Are you ready? I'm going to take you. So again, this is our second to last installment. So I'm going to take you to the epicenter of Sasquatch for the United States. Are you ready?
Oh,
Buckle in.
I'm ready.
I just want to say, we didn't even talk about like Canada and the Sasquatch in Canada, or the the Mexico Bigfoot, or like the Central America Bigfoot, or the South America Bigfoot. I'm just telling you that we have not
There's a
at
lot.
all exhausted the hairy
Bigfoot
hominid
resources
creatures in the
here.
globe.
That
Oh
is
yeah,
great.
so don't you worry.
I'm less upset now.
All right. So I'm going to take us first to Washington State. So, any guesses to how many logged Sasquatch reports are on the BFRO database for Washington State?
I want to go with 360. I feel like Washington State should be a little higher than the others. Texas was like what,
732.
2? Oh, 732?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So you don't have to convince anybody in Washington State that Sasquatch does in fact exist. You could sit in Seattle at
It's like a 5
what
and
is it, Place
1.
Market.
Like you get 5 people and one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. You say Sasquatch and you'll get a bunch of stories. Like it is
Ooh.
common. We should move.
I would love to go to Washington State, but I'm afraid that if I go, I will fall in love with it because
That's
I don't know.
It's dreamy, but the
Yeah,
eruption risk, the earthquake risk, the cost of housing.
I know.
We should start a commune.
Um, we could start a cult.
Why not both?
We could do both. We could start out as a commune and then slowly our message just changes.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird sex stuff optional. Our podcast is not for children.
Yeah, if it has not been known, the podcast is not for children, nor will we have any children at the commune. I'm sorry.
Wait,
I know you won't.
we're not?
Why?
Where am I supposed to have my kids? I want to have kids.
I don't know.
Can we have like the safe space of the compound? Like have these be the adult side, like a resort, like the
Oh, like
adults
a
only and the
also kind of like
yeah
a cruise ship where the kids
yeah
have their club room.
correct.
We could think about that.
Okay, we'll circle back to it.
I don't want kids at my
So
wedding, just so you know.
I do. We're gonna have kids.
Other than like the flower girl and ring bear, they're gonna leave directly after their duties are done.
If Kit is still around, she's going to be a ring bearer.
Well, Kit's not a child. Kit is a person,
That's
and she
true.
can stay for the
That
whole
is.
thing. Okay.
So
Sorry.
hotspots, hotspots in Washington State for Sasquatch. There are a lot. So the big high points we're going to talk about Mount St. Helens, Skamania County, and then the Olympic Peninsula.
Okay.
So first, I'm going to take us to Mount St. Helens. Have you heard of Ape Canyon?
Of what?
Ape Canyon.
Ape Canyon?
Mhm.
I have not, but I love. I want to know more.
So on the southeast slope of Mount St. Helens is a rock formation by the name of Ape Canyon. And it is the site of one of the most infamous and controversial Sasquatch encounters in history. So it was the summer of 1924, and a group of gold prospectors went into this remote portion near Mount St. Helens called Ape Canyon and found gold. And they built this rudimentary log cabin and began mining. And they would actually propel themselves down this escarpment, like 30 or 40 feet down on the side of like a cliff to go into where this mine entrance was. And the cabin was up on top and a little bit in. And they found this site. So verified that this place exists. So during their stay, 2 of the men of this group were out hunting for food. And they encountered a 7-foot-tall, ape-like humanoid creature who then attacked them. So
He was
one of
also
the
hunting
men,
for food.
probably, they look delicious.
That's a good snack.
One of the men fired on the creature, and either the body fell over the side of the canyon as it died, or the body was just left there, and allegedly creatures came out of the woods to collect the body. But in any case, they went back to the cabin to report what had happened to their mining companions. But then, in the middle of the night, the cabin was bombarded by a group of ape men. So the men stated that the walls of the cabin were shaking. Large sounds were ringing out as the cabin was struck by rocks and then boulders. And then the sound of like massive hands slapping the sides of the cabin. And the men actually started firing with their rifles out of like
Inside the cabin?
knots, like out of windows
Okay.
and like knots and holes in the walls. They were firing at these creatures. They even reported the sound of a creature coming across the roof. And then at one point in time, one of the ape men reached its hand through a hole in the cabin door and tried to open up the thing, but then one of the men shot the creature in the arm and it pulled out, and it just made it even more enraged. So the siege continued until dawn, at which point the creatures retreated, and after several hours, the men packed their shit up and got the hell out of there.
As they
At
should.
the time, as they should, the creatures were referred to as mountain devils because Bigfoot was not yet a word that we use to describe this. And for decades, 100 years, the cabin was lost to history. But a researcher by the name of Mark Mersell, who's a researcher from Washington, we discovered the site as well as the mining location kind of down the side of that cliff. And If this is of
Oh,
interest to anybody, I highly recommend watching the Small Town Monster special on Ape Canyon because they really dive into the history and the reports. But isn't that
that is
wild?
so cool. So, when you were describing the cabin, it reminded me of a movie that I had just watched. So, Shudder has a new movie out there called Yeti,
Hmm.
and it, they're like, adv- I don't know, just wild, outdoorsy people who go on these extravagant things. Well, two of them go missing, so their kids are like, all right, well, let's go find our dads. And they find this cabin, and that's where they're hiding up, and the Yeti does the same shit. Like, I'm telling you, crawling on the roof, hand down. It's wild. It's very gruesome also, but it's also like an awfully good, scary movie. Like
I want to watch it.
it's,
It sounds
it's,
very Ape Canyon.
yeah. And I'm like, oh my
Hmm.
God. Turns
Yeah.
out they just wanted their baby that one of them had stolen.
Well, fucking don't steal the babies. What's the matter with you?
So one of the guys, one of the fathers, found the baby and wanted to take it back for a reward and put it on show, and the other one didn't want that. So then the two guys started fighting, and the one stole the baby from the bad guy, and that's how, like, because now that guy's hunting this guy and the baby. Yeah.
The hunter becomes the hunted.
Yes. So mom and dad were real pissed.
I'm riveted. I want to watch it. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to
Yeah,
make Charlie watch it.
it's it's good. It's a good bad horror movie, and I think that's, yeah,
I love
gruesome.
those.
Blood's not missing. Like, there's a
It's a
lot.
horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's, when you were saying that, I'm like, oh my gosh.
It sounds just like this encounter. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's Ape Canyon. And if you want to find it, you can just go on Google Maps and search up Ape Canyon. And it'll pop it on. It's on the south side of Mount St. Helens. So there's all kinds of interesting, you will see the Sasquatch nomenclature everywhere out on the West Coast because it's a known thing. People don't debate this, which is cool.
I love that they don't debate it.
Yeah. So the next location we're going to explore a little bit in Washington State is Skamania County. So this is an area with a whole lot of big old mountain peaks. And near Stevenson, Washington, in 1969, loggers found one of the longest ever documented trackways of Sasquatch footprints, measuring an average of 15 and a half inches. These footprints were found and show evidence of being legitimate tracks, which is pretty cool.
I have the pictures. They will be uploaded to our Facebook and Instagram. And they have
Thank you.
the picture I found. They have a diagram of a human foot and then this cast. And it's pretty wild.
Mhm. So then the last location in Washington I want to talk about, especially for scientific kind of reasons, is the Olympic Peninsula nest sites. So in 2016, there was a land surveyor that was out in a remote area of the Olympic Peninsula where when they came upon these 20 to 24 gigantic, intricately woven structures made of thick sticks and branches and leaves, all kind of woven together in a pattern. And this spawned a whole lot of research into what these things were, and they decided they were Bigfoot nests because there's nothing else out there. It isn't like birds are going to make these nests. And I feel like I'm not describing it very well. So in diameter, they're 7 to 10 feet in diameter. So this is like way bigger than any, fucking bird would make. These are nests. And something with fingers had to weave it into each other. And not only that, but they have found Sasquatch footprints underneath the nests, which, like, there's not a ton of structures where they've actually documented both footprints and structures together.
Yeah.
So it's kind of freaking wild. And
That is wild.
so,
I had no idea they made nests.
yeah. And actually, other great apes like gorillas and chimpanzees also create complex woven nests to sleep in. So it sounds insane, but it's actually a primate behavior.
I'd have to watch
Wild.
Tarzan again, but I do think he lives in a nest for a little bit.
He definitely does. Yeah, I remember that. That was a really devastating movie, honestly. That leopard, Jesus.
Yeah. All Disney movies,
Mhm.
like I think when we grew up, are absolutely just devastating.
They really
Not
are.
like they are now.
And speaking of Darby Orcutt, they did pull samples out of the nests to have it sent for eDNA studies to see if they can pull DNA from them, which is pretty cool.
And what did they
There's no results
find?
yet. Again, like, it's going to take years. We have to be patient. We must be patient.
People can get DNA. Okay, well, it's not the same as a crime scene, I guess. And they're pulling from a database, but I'm sure they're pulling from a database here, but all right, I'll be patient.
And hold your horses for next episode, because I'll talk about DNA and the challenges with DNA and why it takes so long.
Oh, okay.
I got you.
Okay.
All right. So that's Washington State. Are you ready to bid farewell to Washington State and head south?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to Oregon. So Oregon clocks in at 262 BFRO documented sightings. It's also slightly smaller than Washington State.
Yeah.
So, that's fair. Hotspots in Oregon are Clackamas County as well as Mount Hood. And then this is one of the earlier, this is after Ape Canyon, but still pretty early. In 1904, in a place called the Sixes River, there were settlers that were coming through, also trying to, stake land claims. And they recorded encounters with what they called a hairy bipedal, quote unquote, wild man, which was some of the earliest Oregon sightings of what we now think is probably a Bigfoot. So we got history. We didn't even talk about like these states and like the Native American First Nations like perspective on these animals. It's deep.
I am sure it's very deep.
So another controversial figure in Sasquatchery is Paul Freeman. So Paul Freeman was a researcher in an area of Oregon known as the Blue Mountains. In June 10th of 1982, Freeman reportedly sighted a Bigfoot near the town of Walla Walla, which he described as being nearly 8 feet tall and covered in reddish-brown body hair. In 94, Freeman actually caught a video of what people think is a Bigfoot. It's one of the earliest videos, but it's really grainy, so it's kind of hard to tell what's going on there. But people have looked at that video clip since then, and what they think is happening is it's a creature that has a young one, and it's actually picking up the young one, putting it on its shoulder, and then turning around and walking off. So you can see it reaching and grabbing something that's smaller than it. So super cool video.
Ooh. That is cool.
Very cool. And Paul Freeman also documented a whole lot of track finds out there. And a lot of the tracks in this particular region have dermal ridges in them, which is like a human fingerprint, but that unique pattern of ridges that are really hard to replicate in a fake cast. And
So
a lot of researchers like Jeff Meldrum and Grover Krantz, went to the grave thinking that Paul Freeman was legit. Now, the controversy comes in because Freeman was not a very well-educated person. He was super smart, really good in the wilderness, but not, he didn't come across eloquently. And he got a lot of publicity, especially after that video. And he was interviewed on some newscast somewhere, and they asked him if he had ever faked a track, and he said yes, he had. But what he said, the full clip, is that he created a track to then experiment to see if he could replicate the ones he found, and he could not. So
Okay, so that's just
that's research. That's not
that's research. That's not
planning fake
faking a
evidence.
track. They just did that for like clickbait or
Yeah. So there's been a lot of kind of degrading of this man's reputation, which is absolutely not earned because he did a whole lot, especially in that region. And honestly, that without Paul Freeman, that region is a little bit dead in terms of researchers, and is a perfect wilderness area to have something like, a 8-foot tall bipedal primate running around the woods,
Yeah. I feel like that goes to like the ones who know, and the ones who don't,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The other location you can find in Oregon is the North American Bigfoot Center, which is located in Boring, Oregon, right off of Highway 26, owned and operated by a Cliff Barrickman of Finding Bigfoot fame.
Yes. Shout out Cliff again. Hey,
we've got to go visit. Hey-yo.
Yeah, we have to. Why are you starting like a pigeon?
Because I follow them on Patreon. So anybody on Patreon, they call the pigeonry. And so if any of them listen, I want them to know that I'm a pigeon.
Okay.
They don't. I'm sure they don't.
I mean, you don't know that. You don't know.
I mean.
All right. Now that makes sense. I'm like, wait, are we switching tracks to pigeons? Don't get me started.
I know. You don't think that pigeons are real.
There's a whole thing coming about that.
I'm alarmed.
As you should be.
Yes. Let's move into our final state. I know that, you might have some feelings as we move towards the end of our discussion, but I've saved the best for last.
Okay.
All right. So California has 468 encounters statewide in the BFR database. And California is where we first got the nomenclature of Bigfoot. Do you know the story?
No, I don't.
All right. So September of 1958, there were either loggers or workers that were pouring road to get to logging sites. They were out in the woods near Bluff Creek, California, and they discovered gigantic 16 and 17-inch tracks. They also found a whole bunch of equipment that had been moved, things that would have taken like a truck to tow it, and all kinds of like wild stuff. And word got out, and they told the press in the area, and they called it Bigfoot because it was a big foot.
So this is where the name started.
Yep. And the casts that came out of this were casted by a man named Jerry Crew. They showed him to the newspaper, and that's how we got the name Bigfoot. Published in the Humboldt Times.
There's now a name. Bigfoot.
So, OG.
I love that.
So this was in Bluff Creek, right? Do you remember the other big thing that happened in Bluff Creek in terms of Sasquatch?
Is this the one that I always bring up and it's never the right one?
Mm-hmm. Possibly.
Is it the still video that is very controversial?
Ooh, well, it isn't and it isn't. People always try to prove this wrong, and I've yet to find a compelling argument against it. But this is the site of Patty and the Bluff Creek encounter.
Finally!
Let's get into it. So, October 20th of 1967, two men by the name of Roger Patterson and Bob Gimblin, who weren't from the area, they actually came down because of reports of a creature and tracks being seen in this area. They were riding down along the Bluff Creek watershed out in this area of Humboldt County. And what happened was something in the woods spooked Roger Patterson's horse. So the horse fell, and then as he was collecting himself, Patterson looked up to saw a huge, hairy creature standing across the creek, about 120 feet away. Patterson was holding a 16 millimeter camera on a saddlebag. So we pulled it out and he ran a couple of steps and then he crouched down and put the camera on top of either a log or a rock. And this is that really famous shot of the creature moving through this like rocky area with these big trees behind it. And it looks over its shoulder and then walks away into the trees. So that is Patty. Over time, we have learned a ton about that film. And just like you alluded to, there's been a lot of skeptics who try to break this down. To be fair, both Bob Gimlin has never, ever, ever deviated from this being a real true thing that happened. Patterson's family has been a little bit wishy-washy. Patterson himself was a rodeo sideshow performer, so he was allegedly prone to performative things. And recently, this year, actually, there was a big controversy. There was a movie that is being released, hasn't come to public yet, but it was at a film show, and they claimed that Patterson had practiced the Bigfoot thing, and it was all, fake. I still don't buy it because
I don't either.
Of a couple reasons.
Because the strides, like I don't know how tall Patterson was, but the strides that Bigfoot is taking, you can see the size, roughly see the size of it. So that's my thing.
Yeah. So there are so many things. The size of it, she's about 7.5 feet tall. The proportions of the limb lengths, the locomotion of how the hip raises up and the step comes down is not how humans do it. It would hurt for us to step like that. And there's been a whole lot of films or TV shows that have come out to try to, replicate that motion. They had an Olympic athlete come out and try to replicate that motion, and it couldn't be done. The other thing that really gets me is Planet of the Apes. What year did Planet of the Apes come out? Planet of the Apes came out in 1968, so the year after the Patty film. The costume quality in Planet of the Apes is so inferior to what was seen on that creature.
Yes.
Yeah. In first and second generations, like copies of that film, you can see muscle flexure underneath the skin of Patty. You also see that she has breasts, like she's actively nursing an infant. You can see differences in hair patterns across the creature, like all of these things that
cannot be could not have been replicated, in that time frame.
Yeah.
From like Planet of the Apes. And that happened after.
It did. Planet of the Apes, it was a great movie, but you can't tell me those suits were shitty. Like they were just bad.
I mean, it's the time frame that it happened.
They didn't have the tech that we have now.
Yeah.
Even modern like ape suits today don't look like that. 50 years later, they still don't look like that. So I have a hard time really believing that the Patty film was fake.
Yes.
I think people like to profit off of something by having discourse around it.
Oh, absolutely. I think the Patty film is real. No questions about it.
Yeah. Yep. All right. I have one more chapter in our California story.
Okay.
I remember something that you loved from an early episode of the Sasquatch series was the Ohio grassmen yells.
Yes.
The Ohio howls. This is another really weird piece of audio evidence. The Sierra sounds.
Ooh.
So the Sierra sounds are audio recordings made by Ron Moorhead and Al Berry in the Sierra Nevada mountains of California, beginning around 1971. These sound super weird. So let me see if I can get it pulled up. They're weird. They're super weird. So a retired U.S. Navy cryptographic linguist named Scott Nilsson came across these randomly. He's not a Bigfoot guy. He was just up on the internet with his kid for a school project. But this is his specialty. And he determined that the sounds had a language with a vocal pattern that was not human and could not have been faked or hoaxed. It sounds like apes chattering.
Yeah. You know, you can almost tell the difference in male and female voices also.
Yeah, there's definitely multiple voices there. Yeah. It's
That
fascinating.
is wild.
Yeah, and like this sound, other people have heard it out in the woods. Like, you know how much I love finding Bigfoot. Like, Bobo says he's heard this in the woods before.
Bobo.
I know.
That
R.I.P.
is-
Bobo. He's not dead.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
it's wild.
To me, Bigfoot is very highly intelligent because it's been years and we still, but I don't know.
Yeah, and
Also kinda sounded a
cryptolinguist, look
little
at this.
alien-esque.
No!
I don't know.
They're not aliens, they're terrestrial species.
I still think it's weird how they hide. There's like the hide and seek champions are Bigfoot.
Absolutely.
And
They
they're
can
huge.
stand super still. Have you spent days and days and weeks in the woods?
No.
You know how they hide. Let's go. Let's go camping.
Maybe Bigfoots are just hide behinds.
Scary.
That is, yeah.
No likey.
I don't know.
Of course you were trying to make them aliens. I can't. The weird light phenomena is, I still don't know. I hated last episode.
I love
loved
that. They can pop into orbs just like that. Of course they can.
I hate it. I don't know why they do that.
Oh, that was a really good audio.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's super cool. All right. Believability scale.
5 out of 5. I feel like I've given all the Bigfoots 5 out of 5s.
Yeah, I feel like this is like an expose of known things that we just know are
But like
are
they're
true.
just I love it.
I love you.
I love you too. Yeah. This one, 5 out of 5. That's great.
Cool.
That audio just sealed the deal. Like, I was sold from the beginning, but that audio is great.
The Sierra sounds are weird. They're weird listening to. They're sometimes I think the Bigfoot audio is maybe the creepiest thing that I find in research. Like it's unnerving.
Yeah. It is, but okay, you think about it. All the other animals have sounds that they use to communicate. So why wouldn't a Bigfoot have their own sounds to communicate? We already knew they did knocks and howls.
Yeah. And I mean, heck, what else is out there making those noises? Like, sure, foxes make weird noises and so do elk, but they don't make that noise.
That's not that. That is not that.
No. No.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
So, listeners, we want to know how
your believability is 5, isn't it? Probably.
Oh, yeah, mine's 5.
Yeah,
obviously.
Yeah.
It's 10 out of 5. I am a Sasquatch. I have to shave a lot.
I knew it.
You should see the body hair that comes off of me.
I knew it. Can you transform to an orb, though?
Shh. I'll never tell.
Oh my God. Love it.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah, listeners, tell us what your believability scale is, and you can find us at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, all at Field Notes from the Unknown. And that is it for us this week. We'll see you next
Thanks
week.
for listening.
Bye.
Bye.